If y'all love black people, like this, comment, and share it if y'all love black people.
No, you're right. Not all bodies are healthy. Not all bodies are capable of being healthy. That's why it's ableist to assign morality to health.
How to break it to your PWC friends that the majority of their culture results from the looting and colonization of other countries.
Feminists, we need to have a talk. Recently, there was an incident in my comments where a black woman identified herself as a womanist, as is her right. The self-proclaimed intersectional feminist responded by trying to herd her into feminism instead. So she chose to instead talk over a black woman's experience rather than listening to her or other black women's experiences with feminism and why they might actually be choosing womanism instead. And I just want to say that it's attitudes exactly like that that have turned black women away from feminism. It's this entitlement of white women, not listening to what they're saying, promising them that this is the way to achieve their rights, and once again not listening to them because in matters of race, white women are aligned with the oppressors. Hearing from black women or women of color in general, and hearing their experiences where race and gender intersect, that makes white women uncomfortable because listening to that, they realize that they are no longer the victim. I just want to say that black women have every right to identify with womanism, which is a movement that was made in response to this bullshit. It was made so that their issues could be acknowledged and focused on rather than being ignored or exploited. White women historically have not shown any promise of wanting to hold themselves accountable. Decades have passed with black women trying to play by their rules. And I don't blame them for instead choosing to identify with womanism rather than feminism. Bell Hooks wrote a book, Ain't I a Woman, which I think every feminist, especially white feminists, should read. In it she writes, "My intense engagement with feminist consciousness raising compelled me to confront the reality of race, class, and gender difference. Just as I had rebelled against sexist notions of a woman's place, I challenged notions of women's place and identity within women's liberation circles. I could not find a place for myself within the movement. My experience as a young black female was not acknowledged. My voice and the voices of women like me were not heard." White women, white feminists, are not interested in hearing black women out. Because A, that would identify them with the oppressor and not the victim. And B, that would shift the focus away from the true goal of this type of feminism, achieving a social status that is identical to white men. White feminism doesn't want to dismantle the patriarchy, it just wants to shift things around a little bit. It's why mainstream feminism is so obsessed with masculinity and men. They want the power that white men naturally have. Black women, women of color, They've never been a part of that, so they created their own movement. Because why wait around for people who still look down on you and speak over you? So white women, if you truly believed in the power of sisterhood, you wouldn't be forcing black women into feminism just like your ancestors. But you would listen and support them as womanists. Ask yourself why you're trying to convert them and what you're getting out of it versus them. You don't get to sit there and educate them as black women. Rather, you as a white woman should educate yourself. Stop assuming that your movement naturally incorporates black women and stop assuming that you're their ally. Because historically speaking, neither is true. The only way to change that is to stop typing up your little responses and fucking listen to black women. I don't care if it's uncomfortable for you. Your racism and egos are why so many black women have turned away from feminism. It's not them, it's you.
You are making her submit. You are making her show her cards immediately.
Is your masculinity defined by who submits to you, my boy?
Oh, insecure, musclehead looking at.
Who raised this man? Who?
Lame man, let that hurt go.
Let it go. Let it go. So that video was clearly made for men, appealing to men. Why your shirt off?
Why?
Why your shirt off?
It's giving homoerotic vibes, ain't it? Disagreeing might be seen as simping. Him making a video that appeals to dudes talking shit about women is what?
Like we said, get the fuck out of here.
Boy, you all. Yeah. You mad? We don't give a fuck.
Well, I thought we decided one issue at a time.
They're not separate issues, they're intersectional. We can't say that we're fighting for women when we're leaving those among us who are struggling the most behind, which is women of color. Okay. Over time, the wage gap gets worse for women like me. And if you do get that raise, it's based on the initial lower salary. So in 10 years, I will have lost around $82,000, say, compared to Claire. And in 20 years, I will have lost $164,000. True, the average white guy engineer will have made roughly $500,000 more than me by then, but the average white woman will have left me behind as well. And that's not right.
There shouldn't be hierarchy in accents. While European accents are generally considered cool and sexy, and we often see a lot of people trying to emulate those accents, Southeast Asian accents and East Asian accents are often considered inferior, unattractive, embarrassing, and a reason for a lot of degrading jokes. A lot of East Asian immigrants try really hard to erase their accent. East Asian kids in particular will try extra harder, just so they can avoid being bullied in school. Making Asian accents cool is imperative to stopping Asian hate. Because if you cannot appreciate the way we speak, you will not want to hear what we have to say. Hating any part of us and thinking that any part of us is not respect-worthy is you hating us. If you do not respect our Asianness in any form, you do not respect us.
Dear TikTok, stop scrolling and answer a question for me. When did it become cool to be unkind? When did it become acceptable to harass and bully and abuse people online? Why is it that I had to go to my Instagram page and find her perspective, Evelyn, with the following message? You are attacking people who are trying to make a difference in the world, trying to make a change in the world, trying to make a positive change in the world, and you're attacking them for what reason? For what reason? Why does it give people pleasure to harass and bully and torment people online? Did they do anything to you? They may have a different perspective than you or a different opinion than you, but have they done anything to you to deserve to be bullied and harassed? Can you please answer this question for me? Because this isn't the first time I've seen this.
So I conditioned this by saying that I don't want this person attacked. Anytime I talked about feminism needing to pay attention to men, there have been women in my comment section saying, let's not center men in feminism. So those comments are coming from a rather shallow understanding of feminism. And that comment is far more appropriate when we're talking about male allies. Our male allies should not be centered in feminism. They shouldn't be the champions of our own liberation. But feminism itself is about men. Built into the framework of feminism is caring about men's mental health and raising better boys. Here's what I mean. By now, you've probably watched this video.
Let's tell you why you shouldn't ask her for consent.
The reason why, even after his multiple convictions of domestic violence, he was able to come online to teach boys about how to treat women is because of the lack of systemic intervention with dangerous and toxic men. In matriarchy, where systemic feminist female intervention is normalized, he wouldn't be able to do this. He wouldn't be able to access boys, let alone women and girls, without first becoming a safe and stable man. To be that kind of a man, he would have had to heal himself. And healing is not coddling. Healing isn't a fluffy word, because healing's first step is accountability. Healing means committing to a painful work of self-reflection and fully accepting his consequences. That's what we call female intervention. A male intervention is what we currently have, giving him a free pass just to ride out his toxicity. Female intervention is an aggressive systemic intervention that protects our community from unsafe men. That is not women's interpersonal intervention. You as a woman do not have to personally help men heal in your own life. But if you are a feminist, you do need to put pressure on the system to change the way it protects boys from growing into dangerous men. You see that on this app too. Online's full of dating coaches who are trying to teach boys how to treat women without ever talking to women about what is acceptable by us. And that's because this system doesn't give a fuck about boys, what they consume, and who have access to them, and who get to shape their minds. And the direct result of that is women and girls being harmed. Listen, if feminism does not intervene, boys will turn to men's rights activists. And that group works twice as hard and is twice as more unified than us, because that group does not struggle with internalized misogyny. They don't get these comments. They are so much faster in terms of their recruitment and outreach. They reach boys so much faster than we ever could. And if the system continues to abandon boys and do not pay attention to what's going on with men, women and girls will continue to be hurt. And it won't be just women and girls. It'll be everyone. Non-binary individuals, men who do not fit in the stereotype of men, queer men, transgender men, it'll be everyone. So I am with you. It will be nice to have respect for the years I spent grappling with this, trying to come up with a solution to all of this mess.
If men don't show up and fight for us, I'm gonna start a bill for mandated reversible vasectomies. They are safe and don't take long and are better for everyone than forced unwanted birth because it takes two to tango. Not only one of us should be responsible. Effing help us.